Hello dear students, welcome to English grammar class. I hope all of you are doing well. So students, in this class I am going to start a new chapter from your English grammar book, and the name of the chapter is chapter number 4th, Modal Auxiliaries. So this is the chapter that I am going to start today. So let's get started. Modal auxiliaries. So what are modals? See, modals are verbs that are placed before the ordinary verbs. So what are modals? They are verbs which are placed or that are placed before the ordinary verbs. Now what are ordinary verbs? Ordinary verb means the main verbs. So modals are the verbs that are placed before the main verbs or ordinary verbs and express. And what they express? They express permission, possibility, certainty, necessity, ability and suggestion. So first of all, that modals are verbs, first point. Second point, that they are placed before the main verb or the ordinary verb. And the third point, that modals express permission, possibility, certainty, necessity, ability and suggestion. So I hope that the definition and the meaning of modal auxiliaries is clear to everybody. Now let me give you an example. Ritu can go to school tomorrow. Students, in this sentence, Ritu can go to school tomorrow. Ritu can. This can is the modal. Now this can is expressing, or this is indicating the possibility of Ritu going to school tomorrow. That Ritu can go to school tomorrow or the next day. So this can, this is indicating the possibility that Ritu can go to school. So whatever verbs express ability, permission, possibility, certainty, necessity, they are called as modals. So I hope the definition of modals is clear to everybody. Now let me explain you, let me tell you some of the modals. So some of the modals are can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must and ought to. So these 10 modals I am going to explain you in this video or in this chapter. Please remember, can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must and ought to. These are some of the modals that I am going to explain you. So let me explain that. So please cut that line. So students, I have told you that modals are verbs. They are always placed before the main verb and they express permission, possibility, certainty, necessity, ability and suggestion. So this is the third point. Then students, let me tell you that we do not add ing or ed to the modals. Means there is no ing or ed form in modals. Like can, we do not say canning or coulding or canned. Neither ing nor ed is added to the modals. Please remember that we do not add ing or ed to the modals. And one more thing students, one more important point, that modals do not change according to the number of person of the subject. For example, it may be first person, second person or third person. So modals remain the same. For example, I can type very fast. I, the first person. Next, you can type very fast. Here also can remains can only. The person is changed but modal remains the same. They can type, she can type, he can type. Means with all the persons, modal remain the same. There is no change in the form of modals. So I hope that the main points of modals are clear to everybody, that what are exactly modals. So now students, I will be explaining you one by one the usages of all the modals. Now students, before I explain you the usage of several modals, let me tell you one more point regarding the negative sentences. See, negative sentences with modals are formed by using not or NT. See, negative sentences are definitely formed by using not or NT. For example, I cannot type fast. I can't type fast. You can write cannot also and you can write can't also. Both are same. So, negative sentences are formed by adding not or NT to the modals. So, I hope that all the points related to modals are clear to everybody. Now, let me start with the first modal, that is can. So, I will explain you the usage of can, that where do we use can. So, students, first of all, can is used to seek and to grant permission, to ask for permission and to grant permission in an informal manner, in an informal way. For example, can I go outside? I am asking permission. I am taking permission of somebody. Can I go outside? In a very informal way, not formal. In an informal way, we use can in order to seek or grant permission. Next, can I lend your pen? Means it's an informal way of taking or seeking permission. So this is the first point or the first usage of can. So students, the first use of can is in order to seek or grant permission in an informal way. Second, can is used to express ability or capability. For example, I can cross this river. I can solve this puzzle. This is this can. Here can is expressing or it is indicating ability, that I can do this work. I have the ability, I have the capability to do this work. I can carry this box. I can solve all the questions. This is expressing ability of a person to do something. Now, I cannot solve this question. This is also expressing that ability of not doing something. I have told you that negative sentences are also formed with modals by using not or NT. I can carry this box. I cannot carry this box. If I have to frame the negative sentence, I will use the word not or NT. So, I hope that the second point or the second usage of can is clear, that to express ability and capability. Third, can is also used to express possibility. For example, he can come today, that there is a possibility. That means a chance, means something can happen and something cannot happen, or something may happen or something may not happen. That refers to possibility. That means 50-50 chance of happening something or not happening something. So, he can come today. That it means that there is a chance of him coming today. We can finish the work in 2 hours if you pay us overtime. We can finish means there is a possibility to finish the work. So, I hope that the usage of can is clear to everybody. So, first of all, I told you that can is used to seek and grant permission in an informal way. Second, to express ability or capability, and the third point, to express possibility. So, this is the usage of can. So, I think that can is clear to everybody. Now, students, I shall move to the next model, that is could. That I will explain you that where we use could. Now, students, let us come to the second modal. Sorry, cut this line. Now, students, let us come to the second model, that is could. So, first of all, this could, this is the past equivalent or past tense of can. Could is the past tense of can. This is the first thing. Second, could is used in an extremely formal situation, being very polite. It is used in an extremely formal situation, being extremely or being very polite. For example, could you send me your documents? Means being very polite in a very formal way. Could you please send me your documents? Could you please forward my message? Means telling something very formally in a very polite manner. We use could. Then could is used to express weak possibility of happening something. Possibility is there, but very weak possibility. For example, he could come today. means there is a very weak possibility of him coming today. To express a very weak possibility, could is used. So I explained you that first of all, could is the past tense or past equivalent of can. Secondly, we use could in an extremely formal situation, being very polite. And the third, to express a weak possibility of happening something. So I hope that the usages of can and could are clear to everybody. Now students, we will move to the third model, that is may. So may. So now let's move to may. First of all, may is used to make a request or to ask for permission in a formal manner. In order to seek or ask permission or make a request in a very formal manner, we use may. For example, may I come in, sir? Means you are seeking permission, you are asking for permission in a formal way. May I come in, sir? Yes, you may come in. Means seeking or granting permission. Yes, you may come in. May I take a message? Yes, you may. So this is done in a very formal manner. So first of all, may is used to make a request or to seek or grant permission in a very formal manner. Second point. Now students, may is used to express a chance or possibility that something may happen or something may not happen. Means equal chance of happening something or not happening something is called possibility. So may expresses chance or possibility. For example, it may rain tomorrow. It may rain means there is a chance of raining tomorrow. It may rain tomorrow. This is the first example. Then second, John may not come here today. John may not come here today means there is a chance of John not coming that day. So in order to express a chance or possibility, we use may. Third, students, may is used to express suggestion. If you are giving suggestion to anybody, then may is also used there. For example, you may consult my doctor for treatment. You may consult, that means you are giving a suggestion to somebody or someone. So in order to give suggestion, we use may. Next point, may is also used to express wishes, hopes and prayers. Yes, for example, may God bless you. In order to express, in order to wish somebody, in order to hope for somebody, hope something good or pray for others. That is, there also we use may. For example, may God bless you. May God fulfill all your dreams. May you lead a very healthy life. May you lead a prosperous life. So, in order to give wishes, in order to express wishes, we use may. So, I hope that the usages of may is clear to everybody. Now students, let's come to the next model, that is might. So, first of all, might is the past equivalent of may or the past tense of may. So, what is might? Might is the past tense or past equivalent of may. For example, he said that I might go in. He said that I might go in means using the past tense. Second, students, might is used to express a very weak possibility of happening something. See, I told you that we use may to express a chance or possibility, but we use might to express a very weak possibility of happening something. For example, it might snow tomorrow. That means that there is a very less chance of snow tomorrow or the next day. When we have to express a very weak possibility, then we use might. So I hope that may and might are clear to everybody. Now students, let's come to the next model, that is shall. So shall. So I'll explain you the usages of shall. So first of all, shall is used to show determination, determined, how determined you are. To show determination we use shall. For example, we shall be there on time. We shall be there on time. Then we shall do, second example, I shall do whatever is possible to help you, means it is showing determination. So in order to show determination we use shall. This is the first usage. Second, to offer a suggestion. Whenever we have to offer any suggestion, we use shall. For example, shall we seek the help of experts, means you are asking a suggestion of somebody or advice of somebody or someone. Then we use shall. Shall we seek the help of experts? This is means you are asking for someone's suggestion. Shall I bake a cake for you? You are asking for someone's suggestion. So in order to express suggestion we use shall. First of all, to show determination, and second, to offer a suggestion. Third, students, we use shall to express an order or command. For example, the criminals shall be punished, means to express your order. You are expressing an order or you are expressing a command. So to express an order or command we use shall, that the criminals shall be punished. Next, all of you shall sit quietly till the program is over. All of you shall sit quietly, means you are giving an order, you are commanding something to someone. So in order to give an order or command we use shall. And third, to seek advice. To give advice, of course, shall is used, but to seek advice means you are asking the advice of somebody. What shall I do about it? You are asking something, you are asking a suggestion or advice. So in order to ask a suggestion, which I told you earlier, so shall is used first of all to show determination, then to offer suggestion, then to express an order or command, and then lastly to seek advice we use shall. So I hope that the usage of shall is clear to everybody. Now students, let's come to the next models. So the next model is should. I have explained you shall, now we have should. So first of all, should is used as the past equivalent of shall, or the past tense of shall is should. For example, he asked her whether he should buy an ice cream. In order to express in past tense we use should. Next, to express duty or obligation, in order to express any duty, that means something that you are bound to do, that refers to duty. So in order to express a duty or an obligation we use shall. For example, we should follow traffic rules. It's our duty to follow traffic rules. They should be grateful for help, right? So these are the examples expressing duty or obligation. Third point, students, should is used to suggest, to give advice, or ask for suggestion or advice. To suggest and give us advice, and to ask for suggestion or advice we use should. For example, you should exercise regularly to be fit, or to keep yourself fit. You should exercise regularly to be fit, means you are giving an advice to somebody or suggestion. Next, should we exercise regularly, means you are asking for advice. So should we exercise regularly? So in order to suggest, give advice, or to ask for suggestion or advice we use should. So I hope that till here it is clear to everybody. So students, in this video I have explained the meaning and definition of models. Then I explained you 6 types of models, that is can, could, may, might, shall and should. So students, I will be explaining the rest of the models in the next video. Till then, I hope that all the topics are clear, whatever I explained, and I'll meet you in the next video with the next modals. Till then, thank you so much. Be safe.